Hi there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I wanted to show you how to make this lovely Christmas card I created using products from the Most Wonderful Time Medley, as well as the Wreath Builder dies. But before I show you the card, I just wanted to point out some of the wonderful things you get in this product medley. It is showcased in the holiday catalog on page 7, so the prices might be different in whatever country you're watching me from, but here in New Zealand the set is $147, and what you get is you get designer series paper, some shimmer cardstock that has gold embellishments on it, stickers, some gold ribbon, gold stars, the stamp set, as shown here at the bottom of the page, as well as the dies that match some of the images in the stamp set. This is first came out last holiday, and it's returned, which is lovely. I love the set. So if you did purchase it a year ago, you'll probably have most of the items in the stamp and the dies. The great thing is you can get a refill kit this year. So you can get, for $55 in New Zealand, you can get just the paper portion of the set. So you don't have to, you won't be purchasing the stamp and the dies with the refill kit. The refill kit will get you the designer series paper, the card stock with the gold foil on one side, and the stickers, as well as some more stars. And I'll show you what everything looks like here. So I'll just set the card aside. The designer series paper comes with 6 different images, double-sided, so you actually get 12. One side, it's just the matte finish, some beautiful images in old olive and real red. The other side, if you can see here, has gold embellishments on it, so you get some gold shimmer on some of those pieces. There's also 3 different pieces of Whisper White card already cut to the perfect size to put on the front of your cards. And it's single-sided, so one side is plain white and the other side has some gold embellishments, so stars and stripes. The stamp set is what you get in the entire medley, so if you buy the whole suite, you get the stamp set as well as the dies. So the 2 dies match the Christmas trees, then you can do a star or an angel to put on top of your tree. There's a die set that matches the presents that you stamp, and then there's a lovely one that you can make some nice banners for your sentiments. And so the presents are two-step stamping, so you stamp the background once and then you stamp the ribbons over it, and then the die will cut 3 packages out in one go. The other die cuts out the big tree as well as the smaller tree, and then you have some lovely sayings in that set. I will not be using the dies with this set, with this card today. And in the medley, you also get this lovely gold tinsel, I would call it, and that's great for decorating the tree. You do not get this if you purchase the refill kit. So with the refill kit, you don't get the stamp, the dies, or that ribbon, but you get everything else. You also get some lovely already adhesive back stars to decorate your trees. So I'll put those things aside and we'll get started with the card. Now, what inspired me for this card is I saw some other demonstrators that had used a special way of cutting the designer series paper, so you can use it on 4 different cards. A lot of times they refer to it as one sheet wonder. So I gave it a try with, it's kind of like a holly berry type of image there, except the berries are in gold. And I just wanted to quickly show you how to get that. So I'm going to do it with the candy cane. It's good to do it with one that's not a directional paper, because when you cut a directional paper, sometimes you won't get the image going the right way with this technique. So choose a non-directional one, and what you're going to end up doing is cutting it so you end up with 4 pieces that look identical, and then you can use them on your card. So if I put those pieces together, you can see they're identical. I used one here and I already used another one. But I will show you on the candy cane how to do it. So to do this, basically, you just need to, you can either mark out or eyeball it 4 points. And you decide how wide you want your strip to be. So on my original one, I marked it at 11 centimeters. And this is 15.2 centimeters. It's also a 6 by 6 inch square of designer series paper. So that's roughly, not sure what the inches were on that. So that's roughly about 4.5 inches, I believe. And so you can either just cut it or you can mark it. So what I did is I've actually marked 11 centimeters on each side. So I measured 11 centimeters, marked it, then went to the next side, measured down 11 centimeters. I've got a little pencil mark there. Turned it, measured down 11 centimeters, marked it, measured down 11 centimeters. So I did it on the back so I'd be able to see it. So I've got 11 centimeters marked on each edge. And what you do is you get your trimmer out and you find your mark. So that's my first mark there. Line it up in the center area where the trimmer is going to cut. And you want to do it at the diagonal and then find the other end. Hopefully you can see that. So there's the other end. I would zoom in, but you won't be able to see. So I've got one marking there and my other mark on the opposite side there. And what you do is you, when you have both marks right in where it's going to cut, you simply cut the two of them. Now trying to hold it together, the paper that is, turn it at a diagonal to find your other mark. So there's one mark there, and keeping my paper together, I find the other mark. So I've got my one mark there going in the middle of the groove for cutting, and my second mark is down here in the groove. And I've still got my paper lined up nicely edge to edge, holding it down and slice it. Okay, so I've done 2 slices on my 6 by 6 paper, and I've actually come up with 4 identically sized pieces. So now I can do 4 cards with those pieces. And because this is a non-directional paper, I could put it down any way I want. If it was directional, then I'd be limited on how I put it on the card. So I can decorate the card, I'll just put this one upside down. So I could decorate the card that way, or I could decorate the card this way, turn it around that way. You could have all kinds of different interesting shapes by cutting your designer series paper. So I'll use that for another project. You can even turn it around and have both pieces on the same card and, you know, decorate it however you'd like. Put it back together. You could put it back together with the 6 by 6. So that, I just wanted to show you how I got the shape. So for the card, you start with your standard card base. I'm using Old Olive because I'm picking up the colors from the designer series paper. So I've got Old Olive base, and then I have white cardstock for the inside to write on and the outside. That is just fractionally smaller than my base. So for my 2 pieces of Whisper White, I've cut it at 10 centimeters by 14.3. So I've taken 5 centimeters off each edge. One's for the inside, one's for the outside. Now with the, what I didn't show you is the sticker packs that come with it. Mine are kind of used up a bit. So with the set, you get some sticker packs. So you get some matching holly branches. You get some stars. You have trees that match the tree images. You have some lovely little deer and some more stars. And as you can see, I've used up quite a few. So these are stickers. So they've already got the adhesive on the back of them. And they color coordinate like everything in Stampin' Up. So I'm just going to use a few of those stickers on my image. And then the wreath here, the background of the wreath, I've pre-cut in the Old Olive. I've used one of the dies from the Wreath Builder dies. So it's that shape there. There's 2 different shaped wreath dies in that. I've already pre-cut that in Old Olive. And the nice thing with those dies is it actually embosses. So see those little bumps in the center there? It creates, there you go, it creates a little indent inside the leaf. So not only does it cut the wreath out, you get a nice little embossed impression. So I've already done that. And then in Real Red, I used 2 dies, again from the Wreath Builder dies. They look like that, the bow dies. So I've used that already to cut Real Red. I've got a little bow there. So I've got that to do. So I'm going to change this up slightly. The other thing I have is to bring out the gold foil there. I've actually got gold edging here along the Designer Series paper. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I hate to waste anything. So underneath this part is no gold because if I cut it to be the same shape, you're not going to see what's underneath. And gold foil is not that inexpensive, so I like to save as much as I can. So what I've done with that is I've used 2 of the dies from the rectangle stitch dies, and so you can layer them. See how they layer inside nicely? So I've used 2 different sizes, and I've die cut the gold foil already using these 2. You can use whatever size you want depending on how big you cut your Designer Series paper. So using those 2 dies, I've run it through with my gold foil. There we go. And I've cut, basically I cut this big piece of gold foil, and using the 2 dies, I was able to cut that out of the center so I can use this on another project and not waste that. And then I had a rectangle. I just diagonally cut from each corner to use just 1/2 of that. So essentially you could get 2 cards out of this piece that I've cut. So that's the background piece to put behind my already cut Designer Series paper. Now I can put it this way, and using 1/2 of that rectangle, I've got plenty of room there. Or if I want, I could turn it around this way and have plenty of room there. Now, I already cut my rectangle in half because I did this in a class the other day, and so everybody got 1/2 of a rectangle. But if you were doing it yourself, I wouldn't cut the rectangle till you decide how much of this you want to use, and then cut it. So you might have something like this. So that's what happened the first time. I only cut a little bit off the rectangle to make that card. So that's what I have ready to go here. Now, this card, I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to put it this direction, just to see how that looks. Hopefully I remember all that. And so on the inside, I've just stamped a message, and I've stamped some of the trees to give a little lovely image inside. So let's get going stamping. So remembering I'm going this direction, the first thing you need to do is determine where on your front piece of card you're going to have your words. Because if you have a close look, I've embossed this with the subtle embossing folder. So if you want any words to be there, you need to stamp it before you emboss it. And you need to determine where the words are going to be. So with this one, I was thinking I was going to go possibly this way around. Maybe I could have the wreath there. And the words, actually no, I was thinking the other way around. I think I was thinking of having it at the bottom. So I was, for this one, I wanted to change it up and have it come in from the bottom. Then I'll have my wreath at the top, and I'll have the bow at the top of the wreath. So deciding to do that, I will stamp my words, Deck the Halls, which is from the Most Wonderful Time stamp set, in green, and I will stamp it down at the angle here. So that's what I meant about determining where you want your words to go first. So roughly putting that in place, I'm now going to stamp my words because I'll know how much space I have. So I want to stamp it fairly close and at that angle. So I'm going to stamp that with the Old Olive to complement the wreath. And add an angle. So I'm going to come in. Nice pressure down and straight up. There we go. So that's pretty good. Not quite as dark as I'd like. I might try that again on the other side, see if I can get it darker. That's the other reason why you don't attach anything first, so you can stamp it. So roughly want it to be about there. And I'll see if I can get a better image on this side, and then I'll choose which one's better of the two. So I think my Old Olive ink needs some re-inking. Okay. Second time's a charm. Nice thing with these photopolymer, you can see through it, so you can see where you're stamping around. Good pressure. Yeah, that one looks a bit better. I like that one better. Okay. I just want to clean that so I don't stick something on it. Okay, so while I've got the Old Olive out, so now I'm going to run that through the subtle embossing folder, and then I will stick everything onto it. But while I have the Old Olive out, keeping it in the correct direction, otherwise I'll forget, put the tree in the wrong place, I'm going to stamp the tree. I'm just gonna gonna stamp the tree once where I want it. Nice solid image. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm just gonna immediately stamp again right next to it. And then one more time next to it. I wobbled it a bit. So you can see the images. I've got the dark and then a couple lighter images. I'm not too happy with how that came out, but that's what happens when you do it on video. And then the words for the inside are in real red. And the words are from that stamp set as well. So it's just, hope you have a wonderful Christmas. So let's try to get that straight at the top. There we go. So that's the inside. So that's all the stamping needed for this card. And now I just need to emboss this outside edge before I go ahead and do any more gluing. All right, I'll be right back. So now I have embossed that, and so hopefully you can see there's some lines on there. So with the subtle embossing folder, it is directional. So when you are embossing it, keep in mind which way you want things to go. So it is one of our 3D folders, and the lines go that direction. So I put the paper in this way. Otherwise, you could put it that way, but then the lines go the other direction. So keep in mind when you're doing that. So now we just have to stick everything down. So for the inside, I will find my glue. And I just redid the inside because that smudge. Oh, there we go. My glue's misbehaving on me. So you can tape it down or glue it down, whichever you prefer. And when you're doing things with the designer series paper, the nice thing with Stampin' Up paper is it tells you in the packaging, or you can refer back to the catalog or even go on the website to find out which colors it's used in the paper, so that way you can color coordinate things. And when it tells you the colors, it will tell you the colors that's used in the entire pack of designer series paper, which might not necessarily be in every single sheet, because like this one is obviously Old Olive, but the packaging would also say Real Red on it. But here we've got Real Red and Old Olive, and that's just different shades of Old Olive. Now that I've decided which is the side I want to use, I think that's the darker side, I will stick it down. Again, just a bit of glue. Some people like to use dimensionals to give a bit of depth on the background card, which you could do if you wanted. I just want to stick it down so I've got everything going the right direction. And it also helps to use a bone folder just to help to spread the glue around if you're using glue around on the outside. Okay. Now, my other tip for this is once you've decided which way you're going to put it on, put a little bit of adhesive just on the edge that's going to be on your foil. So just on that edge, and then you can just stick it onto the foil. Now if you want it stitching, double stitching, you could just push it down a little bit. I just want the foil stitching just to be on the outside edge. And using the liquid glue gives me time to wiggle it right into place. Oh, I just realized I'm supposed to stick it there before I cut it off. Silly me. So, once it's stuck now, then cut the foil off the edges that are overlapping. So, here I'm just going to come right up there and go snip. And that foil can be used for something else if you want in the future. And then just snip. Okay. When I have big pieces of foil and things like that, quite often I use it because you never know when you just want to have just a little accent. So I could even use that on the inside and just do a little accent on the inside of the card with that little piece of foil. So I don't like to waste anything. So now that I've got that, let's glue it down. I don't know if you can hear those birds going a bit crazy out there, and the motorcycles. It's a spring afternoon here in New Zealand, and the weather has been lovely today, although we're supposed to have rain in a couple days' time. But it's nice for things to be warming up again. Alright, so put that right there in place. Now, with my wreath, I want that to have a little bit of dimension to it. So I will use some mini dimensionals to stick on the back. But first, let's get the bow. So the bow, I could just use like that, but the second piece of the bow just helps to give it some dimension. You could put it that way, or you could put it up in the back like that, just to give you some little extra look to it. And I think I might go that way. Just put a dot of glue right there. Could even pop it up some more with a dimensional if I want it. And that just makes it look a bit more multi-level. Just using my fingers, I'm just going to shape it up a bit so it's not quite so flat. I could use the bone folder, but this is so small and thin that the bone folder might actually rip it. So I'm just using my fingers to shape it a bit and give a bit of shape to that bow. Okay. Now, this might look symmetrical, but there's actually slightly different parts to the wreath. And I think I am going to just find one section, like right maybe there, that I can glue it onto. Just pop a bit of glue right in the part I want to stick down. And I think I might put it right about there. There we go. So my original card, I had the wreath with the bow at the bottom because of where I set everything. So this one, because the wreath's going to be down here, that would be too much red, so I decided I'll put the bow at the top. Okay. Now, you can take the stickers and put them on your wreath. I use the small ones here, but if you're doing a lot of these and you're running out, you can actually cut the bigger ones into smaller sections. But because I bought a refill kit, I have plenty of the small ones left. So as I said, they are adhesive, so just peel them off and then just place them wherever you want around your wreath. Now I'm putting them so they do overlap some of the actual leaves, because being sticky they will stick down, and I want it to give a bit of height. So I'm just going to take those smaller ones, which are the perfect size for this wreath. And see, you notice they go different directions. So that one's curving this way and this is curving the other way, which is perfect for the wreath. So I will place another one right around here. Probably should put them on before I put my bow on. Do it here so they can see it better. Okay. And grab another one. And so that one is directionally this way. So I will pop that one directionally that way. So you can use as many or as few as you want. So now I'm trying to find one going the other direction. I'm confused. Huh. Is that the only one that was going the odd way around? Maybe I lucked out. So pop that one about there. And then I'd say I probably have enough room for two more. There's one there. So they are all slightly different. So on my original wreath, they all went the same way. This one, I've got them going different directions. Oh, stuck it down onto the card. And then I might have room for one little more. And we'll just pop one more, just going there. Okay. So that's my wreath with my little berries showing up on it. And now I want to give it some dimension, so I'll turn it upside down and put some mini dimensionals on it. If I can find my mini dimensionals, there we go. And so when you're popping these down, put them somewhere where you have the extra wreath part, because you don't want them to be showing through. So you want to put them on some of the fatter areas of your background. Yep, I'm getting stuck with those stickers. Definitely want one right behind my bow. And you don't need a lot, just a few, just to hold it in place. Yeah, let's see, probably one there. Some people like to go overboard with dimensionals. I personally don't. And just pop those off. You could just put this down flat if you want it. And the adhesive from those stickers would help it stay in place. So once you decide where you're going to put it, then I'm just going to have it, I'm going to make it kind of central. Sorry about that little alarm there. And there you go. So we got Deck the Halls. So it wasn't that difficult. So we've got two different versions, basically made from the same piece of cardstock. I think it was probably that way around. So you could cut your cardstock and have 4 different cards and make them all look different depending on which direction you put your cardstock. Or even if you were to flip your cardstock over, you could have a completely different look. But see, this is directional, so this one would kind of lend itself more towards the taller card. So hopefully you enjoyed that, showing you a couple different Christmas cards, as well as a way to cut your designer series paper, sort of a one-sheet wonder, where you get 4 identical pieces so you can make the lovely cards. So if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. You can go to my blog to see other designs and ideas, or if you live in New Zealand and would like to buy any products and don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you can go to my website, michellekritchley.stampinup.net. In October, there will actually be a designer series paper sale. So if you're thinking about getting some paper, you've only got a few days left to wait, and there will be a sale on the shop online. I don't know if this paper is in the sale, but we have lots of other fabulous Christmas paper that you can use to do these designs. So this was, the images were from The Most Wonderful Time, and the die cuts were from the Wreath Builder dies. And those were the wreath and the bows. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see some more fabulous card ideas. And if you have any ideas yourself, please share them with me. Send me a message if you'd like me to make something specific. And I hope you've enjoyed that, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.